reports that a train and school bus have collided in a Belgian town, Buggenhout, this morning. Several people reported to have been killed. It's located around 30 kilometres north and west of Brussels. You can see it there on the map. Reporting from local politicians suggests that this occurred at a level crossing. We've heard from the Justice Minister, who said that words fail her in regards to the situation and that the prosecutor's office is following up on the situation. I'm just looking at various local media sources, notably VRT News, which is part of the Flemish Broadcasting Service. They are reporting multiple fatalities. I do not have at the moment an exact figure on the fatalities and also any other associated injuries, but they are reporting, local media in Belgium, that 7 school children and 2 members of staff, 2 adults, were aboard the van. According to a quote from a federal police officer, they do not want to give condition updates of the victims, but they did say that the van was for a special educational school and that it involves secondary school children. Sky News is working to develop and ascertain the details of this situation ourselves independently. Like I say, these are developments being brought to us by local media sources. And posting on X, there are several politicians who are describing what they know. The Minister of the Flemish Parliament says that this occurred at a level crossing and that this is a situation that they have thanked the emergency services for their work. We'll shortly be able to join our Europe correspondent, Alistair Bunkle, who is live on the phone with us. Alistair, tell us, what more do you know?
Well, I mean, we don't know many more details than what, Gareth, you've just been laying out there. But just to repeat some of that and to add what detail I've got from this end, this incident seemed to happen just before 8:15 this morning. So school run time. Belgian school children, like school children in the United Kingdom, returning back to school today after the extended weekend, the bank holiday. The incident seemed to happen at a level crossing, and the reports are that the barriers were down and the lights were red, obviously indicating that traffic should stop, and that a train was approaching. It was about 1 kilometre outside of the local train station, so the train was already starting to brake as it was approaching that train station, and then did apply an emergency brake, but still hit this vehicle, this minibus. Unclear why the minibus was on the tracks at the time. A number of school children on board. It was a minibus as opposed to a larger coach, but they're secondary school-aged children. I think it was 7 on board, including, of course, then the bus driver himself. And just reports at the moment citing local sources, and this comes from our local media partner, news partner here in Belgium, that there have been several fatalities, although that has not yet been confirmed officially or publicly by either the police or local officials in the area, which is just north of where I am in Brussels. The mayor is expected, we understand, to perhaps give a press briefing a bit later on today, and some of those who are on the train have been taken to care at a local or nearby fire facility, fire station as well. Some of those, of course, suffering from shock. So no confirmation on injuries and fatalities beyond sources reporting that there have been a number of fatalities. I think the fact that a few high-profile Belgian politicians are starting to tweet about it and post on X about it suggests that it could be accurate that there have been fatalities, but we wait to hear official confirmation of that.
And just remind us of some of the key figures that we understand here, Alistair.
Well, various ministers within the Belgian government and local authorities around that region, in the Flanders region, north of north of Brussels, as I say. Some of those have posted messages saying that they are, of course, their thoughts are with the families and the children involved, and those who are on the train, and of course the emergency services who are now working at the scene. I've seen a picture of the minibus lying on its side, clearly as after it was dislodged from the tracks by the train when it was hit. And as I say, if the barriers were down and the red lights were flashing in order to stop traffic, no idea yet why it was that the bus was, we assume, on the tracks, of course, when it was hit by the train.
We're just seeing here a map of the collision site. This is where this incident took place this morning. And I'm just seeing from local media sources that this incident happened around a kilometre from the railway station in Bugenhout, and that the train had been slowing. That reportedly, and I cannot confirm this independently, reportedly that the driver had tried to apply the emergency brake but could not avoid a collision. And I think you can see there in the side screen on here on Sky News a bit more of the kind of the Google image location of where this collision site took place. You can see there the level crossing. You can see there the red and white barrier in its raised position. You can see what appears to be two running rails, two lines in that location, and a relatively established kind of local community there. So this is the scene. This is a file photograph via Google Street View, of course. So this is not the scene as it currently stands, but you can see there the red and white barriers that would descend over the railway lines. There are the warning lights, there are warning placards there as well. What appears to be a relatively smooth and clear road surface as well. And this is the scene. This is the scene where we understand that this incident took place. Like I say, local media reporting that this was a van carrying school children. We understand from local media sources that 7 children were on board this car, along with 2 adults that collided with a train. Let's take you through some of the images of the scene itself. These are live images being brought to us, and latest images being brought to us here at Sky News. This is the scene. You can see there the impact not only to the vehicle, but also there to some of the railside infrastructure. That metal beam appears to be one of the overhead line rails, pillars that has been knocked over. These are the tents that I described to you earlier, and there are multiple ambulances in attendance, scores of emergency service workers there as well. And as you can see, this multi-agency response to this situation that developed around 8 o'clock or so local time, around 30 kilometres northwest of Brussels, aerial appliances in attendance as well as would be considered normal in a situation such as this. This appears to be the van at the centre of this tragedy that reportedly was carrying potentially 9 passengers. We understand 2 adults and 7 children. Local media in Belgium reporting that it was a van for a special educational school. And you can see there to the right of the frame in that previous shot what appeared to be one of the trolleys being moved away from that scene. But you can see there fire engines, ambulance appliances. We also saw the aerial appliance being dispatched there as well. And this is the situation that is unfolding. We're being told multiple fatalities have been reported. As yet, do not know the number of people involved, do not know the situation regarding any further injuries, and we do not know about any injuries on board the train. It is, of course, relatively early in the morning when this incident took place. One would assume that the train had a relatively high level of occupancy. It's obviously a Tuesday morning, central commuter time, around 8 o'clock or so. And you can see there some debris to the bottom left of that picture. You can also see, like I say, that column that holds up the overhead wiring on lines such as this appears to be knocked. No details as to the impact on the train itself, whether that was derailed or whether any of the carriages left the rails. but we are working to establish more details on it. I understand that the municipality Bugenhout has set up a press centre for further communication. And like I say, according to federal police, family members are being informed and are being taken care of at a school nearby this incident. The incident is around a kilometre away from the station in Bugenhout. It's understood that this level crossing, like I say, around a kilometre away from the station, reports from local media that the train was coming to a halt in that station, so had been slowing at the time of the incident. According to local reports as well, and I've not been able to independently verify them myself, but the emergency brake had been applied by the driver, but there was not enough time for the train to come to a halt prior to the collision. We understand from Annelies Verlinden, the Justice Minister in Belgium, via posts on X, that prosecutors are following up on the situation that has developed here and investigations already ongoing. We'll shortly be able to bring in a guest, Thomas Bacon, who is a spokesperson for the train company involved in this, joins us now on Sky News. I appreciate you joining us. What more can you tell us?
What I can tell you is that this morning at 8:08 exactly, there was a collision between a train and a minivan. We don't have any news concerning the casualties, but it was a severe collision. What we can tell you, because we have a technical camera installed at the level crossing, is that at the moment of the impact, the level crossing was closed. So that means the barriers were down and the red lights were flashing. So we are trying to understand why the minivan was still going ahead. We don't know. The police is busy doing the investigation. And of course, we will collaborate with this investigation. We are going to give these images from our technical camera to the police so to understand how this accident could happen.
You mentioned there that the camera had the image that showed that your emergency protocols were in place, those barriers and those warning lights were enacted. Was the van stationary at the time of the incident, or was the van travelling across the level crossing at the time of the incident? Was it in transit? Was it in motion?
I can't comment too much on the accident itself. What I can tell you is that the van was actually in motion. It was taking a turn onto the level crossing. It was coming from a street parallel to the tracks, and there are red lights and the barriers were closed. So I don't understand why the
had a pause in the connection to the incident site there. We're hearing from a spokesperson from the railway company involved in this, Thomas Bacon, who was joining us here live on Sky News. We'll just continue to follow this situation and see if we can re-establish that connection. But let me just summarise what we do know. He said that the cameras, the technical cameras, as he described, that looked down on this level crossing showed that the barriers were closed. I don't know if we can go back to the Google Street View image, the historical image of the scene. If we can just understand exactly what was being described. But Thomas Bacon, the spokesperson for the train company, saying that this incident took place at the level crossing. This is, like I say, the file image from Google Street View, but he said that the barriers were descended and that the lights, the warning lights, were flashing and enforced. He said that camera imagery from the technical cameras that overlook this level crossing could confirm that the security protocols were in place. He referenced a road that runs parallel to this level crossing. Well, it appears, and obviously we've got a limited view here of the scene site, but it appears that there are two parallel roads. So exactly where the van was approaching from, I can't tell you. I think we can cross back to Thomas now, who joins us here live on Sky News. Appreciate you rejoining us on the programme. What more can you tell us about the train service involved? What do we know there?
So Because of the accident, the trains cannot run at this moment. They have stopped circulating between Mechelen and Dendermonde. And the SNCB, so the train company, is organizing a bus service in order to get some mobility going on.
And the train involved in this incident, was this a commuter train? What level? Oh, we've unfortunately lost that connection, but hearing understandably that trains have been halted in that area. Let's just hear more from our Europe correspondent, Alistair Bunkle.
This incident seemed to happen just before 8:15 this morning, so school run time. Belgian school children, like school children in the United Kingdom, returning back to school today after the extended weekend, the bank holiday. The incident seemed to happen at a level crossing, and the reports are that the barriers were down and the lights were red, obviously indicating that traffic should stop, and that a train was approaching. It was about a kilometre outside of the local train station, so the train was already starting to brake as it was approaching that train station, and then did apply an emergency brake, but still hit this vehicle, this minibus. Unclear why the minibus was on the tracks at the time. A number of school children on board. It was a minibus as opposed to a larger coach, but they're secondary school-aged children. I think it was 7 on board, including, of course, then the bus driver himself. And just reports at the moment citing local sources, and this comes from our local media partner, news partner here in Belgium, that there have been several fatalities, although that has not yet been confirmed officially or publicly by either the police or local officials in the area, which is just north of where I am in Brussels. The mayor is expected, we understand, to perhaps give a press briefing a bit later on today, and some of those who are on the train have been taken to care at a local or nearby fire facility, fire station as well. Some of those, of course, suffering from shock. So no confirmation on injuries and fatalities beyond sources reporting that there have been a number of fatalities. I think the fact that a few high-profile Belgian politicians are starting to tweet about it and post on X about it suggests that it could be accurate that there have been fatalities, but we wait to hear official confirmation of that.
Breaking news to be brought to you here on Sky News. Confirmation that 9 people on board that school van that has collided with a train service in Belgium. I'm just seeing here Reuters citing RTL, and the Belgian Transport Minister, saying 2 teenagers, the bus driver and another adult, were killed in that train collision. So according to the Reuters news agency, citing local media, quoting the Belgian Transport Minister, 2 teenagers, the bus driver and another adult killed in the train collision. There is more details on the live page on the Sky News app and the Sky News website. You can scan that QR code for more details as we bring you the full understanding of the situation in Bugenhout. This is, like I say, around 30 kilometres north and west of Brussels in Belgium. And the breaking news is reports from local media citing the country's transport minister that 2 teenagers, a bus driver and another adult, have been killed in this collision with a train. We understand that the incident site is around a kilometre outside of the railway station in the locality. It is being reported by local media that the train was slowing to make a stop in that station. And it's being reported as well by local media that the train driver had attempted to apply the emergency brake but wasn't able to stop in time. A lot of these details we're working to establish ourselves independently on Sky News. That is why I'm giving you the understanding of where we're learning this information. It is a developing situation here this morning. Let's take a few moments just to look at exactly where we're referring to. This is the scene of the location, Bugenhout, just around 30 kilometres north of Brussels. Like I say, we can then zoom in a little closer in due course and show you the incident site itself in the locality. It's being reported, like I say, around a kilometre outside of the railway station. Let's just show you this close-up map now. So like I say, this is the collision site. And speaking to a spokesperson for the railway company, he cited this parallel road that the van had turned in from. And you can just see there the railway line, that grey line running through the centre of the screen, and those white lines are the roads around the scene. And it's being reported from the train company that the van had turned in from a parallel road. Let's show you the scene. This is the Google Street View image. This, of course, is an historic image. So this is not the scene as we know it currently. But this is the incident site itself. You can see there it's an electrified line. You can see the overhead cables that will power the train services that run along that part of the network. You can see there the metal beams that hold up those electrified cables. In some of the latest imagery we've seen from the incident site itself, at least one of those beams is bent over. There has been damage to the railway infrastructure itself. We understand from the train company that the barriers that you can see in front of you there, those red and white barriers, were descended, that the warning lights were flashing. You can see there some of the infrastructure damage to the railway line itself. And like I say, the breaking news in the last 5 minutes is that according to local media and the Belgium transport minister who is being quoted, 2 teenagers, a bus driver and another adult have been killed in this collision. It took place in Belgium. I'm just looking now at VRT News. This is the news service of from the Flemish nationality. Let me just bring you more details on what they have to say. So they are reporting that this was a school for special education, and an email has been sent to parents saying that the emergency services are on site but are not communicating anything officially as yet. According to VRT News, we're just reading more details that the Flemish Minister of Education says that their thoughts are with the victims, the families, and all those affected. Like I say, we understand that 7 school children and 2 adults were aboard this van, and we're getting more details regarding the number of fatalities as well. Like I say, you can get more on the situation on the Sky News website and the Sky News app. There is a live page running as we speak. Just to remind you that the Minister, Jean-Luc Rukke, describing the situation as tragic. He is Belgium's transport minister, saying that several people have been killed in the crash. 2 teenagers, the bus driver and another adult, said to be a chaperone,